YouTubers over there. Good morning. I am here at Death Valley, waking up in the desert in this weird parking lot campground, but it's totally nice because there's nobody around me for a really big distance. So it's actually was totally fine and nice. Slept pretty well. Really wasn't that cold. It was just in the 40s. So it was, 50 degrees in the car. Didn't even wear a hat when I was sleeping. I did deck out in my hat and my big coat because I made coffee with my new coconut creamer. That is great. And I made eggs and I made toast. I have those English muffins, which amazingly have lasted even though I bought them, I think 2 months ago. But apparently Trader Joe's English muffins last for a really long time. With my ghee, lovely breakfast. I actually had a bar at like 5 a.m. because I was awake. And I wasn't going to cook at 5 a.m. outside. But yeah, lovely. My bed got kind of messed up, so I kind of remake my bed. I'm still putting stuff away for me to go on my next, leg of the trip. But yeah, this was actually really nice. Like, it's kind of funny that I generally speaking would not want to camp in a parking lot to be like at a campground, because this is really meant for all RVers. That's what this is for, and who stay inside their RV all the time. But here's the thing, when there's nobody here, it actually is totally fine and nice. And I'm not staying at the campsite. Like, I literally am using this similar to how I use a rest stop, except I got here yesterday at like 1 o'clock or sometime like that, early afternoon. And I just stayed here. Besides going to the bathroom, I stayed here the whole night time. And it was actually really nice to just stay put. Now, I did have, there's only 3G here, which I didn't even realize 3G network still existed, but apparently does in Death Valley. And most of the day yesterday, I was only able to send text, and that was like all I could do. I couldn't really do anything else. I mean, I could call someone and send text. So I was really using kind of traditional phone kind of thing. But this morning at 5 a.m., I could do anything. I was able to check my stuff and see that my art teacher had not graded my assignment yet. So I don't have to worry about that because she didn't do it anyway. I was able to check my email. I was able to check the weather and, all the things. So that was actually that made a lot of sense because at 5 a.m. I was the only person using it. It might be somebody else. There's a family over there that when I got up to go to the bathroom at 5 a.m., they were up because they have a baby. And I was like, yep. Camping with a little kid. I think maybe I think they have 2 kids, like a baby and an older toddler, preschooler kind of age. I'm like, I only have 1 kid, but camping with a toddler is the hardest camping because the kid just takes off and to their death, and it's like, oh my gosh, So anyway, so I'm going to now finish packing out my stuff because my car is still a little bit of a mess. And then I'm going to be heading off to the next thing. It is 7:18 a.m. The sun just rose, so it is lovely. And I know I'm at this weird lighting, but I don't know. I could go like this. Let's see. There you go. But it's still weird lighting. Right? But anyway, this looks really strange, me just holding my hand up. But so I'm going to head over to the crater. Hopefully I can see the crater from where I can able to walk. My foot actually hurts a little bit this morning. I haven't wrapped it yet. I think I'm going to wrap it before I start driving. Off to join my day in Death Valley. Only 1 kind of gas. The first time I came to Death Valley and I saw the kind of big sand dunes, I was actually disappointed because I thought they weren't that big. But the issue is it's not that they're not big. They're very big. It's that Death Valley is so freaking huge that it's a scale problem. They don't look big because they're in this gigantuan valley. And it's important to know that if you're ever coming to Death Valley, unless you're here for a long time, a week, 2 weeks, something like that, you're not going to be able to see everything. Everything is so far apart. That's a lot of driving. Now, there's a ton of stuff that's actually fairly close together, so you can see some of the big things. Don't get me wrong. You can stay at Furnace Creek. There's a whole bunch of stuff right there. I mean, you're going to be driving to all those things, but there's a lot of stuff to see. Assuming it's open and they fix those things, because there's a whole lot of stuff right now you can't see. But, if you come here and they've actually fixed the roads and fixed the things. So maybe I'm filming this in February of 2024. if you come here in 2025 and there's no horrible storm between now and then, I actually think that the horrible storms, having one big storm a year, is probably normal now. And it is, you kind of have to plan that if you're coming to Death Valley, you're going to have no idea what's actually going to be open. And, you know, you'll just be lucky. But it is important to know how big the desert is out here. Not just Death Valley, but all of the desert. There's so many times where I'll run into people, and especially people from other countries, especially like European countries, where they don't have big spaces like this. I mean, if you're Australian, you got big spaces, right? Like there's many countries that do. So yeah, like it is so huge. The scale in the desert generally, in Nevada, Utah, in eastern part of California, Arizona. I mean, these are all huge spaces. And there are times where you can drive, especially when you get to like Nevada on some of the less traveled highways, where you're going an hour or more before maybe an hour and a half, you know, before you get to any gas station. So like I just filled up at this place where it literally only had unleaded gas. There was no fancy gas. There's no diesel, just there was one button to push. That was it. I've never seen that before. And it wasn't too expensive. It was $5. I mean, we're in California, so that wasn't a surprise at all. I paid more than that in other parts of California. But I filled up because there's always a possibility something will happen when I'm driving and I get stuck somewhere. And so you want to make sure you have a lot of fuel, because that fuel isn't just for the car moving. It's also for me running heat. It's also for me being able to charge devices. I mean, I have my batteries, so I would be good for a very long time, but still, you know, you always want to, I drive, when I'm in the desert, I drive in the top half of my tank. And I think that when I'm in the city, I don't do that. I drive all the way down and fill the whole thing up. But in the desert, whether it's summer, winter, whatever. The other thing about Death Valley is, even in the winter, where here it is beautiful weather, it is like probably, 47 degrees, and it's not a cold 47. It's not really windy at all. It's going to be in the 60s today. Beautiful time to come. I highly recommend coming in the winter. But besides the fact that you're going to have to watch out for weather and the roads being washed out and you get trapped. But also, it is freaking dry here, okay? And obviously it's Death Valley, right? But during the summer, you expect it to be very dry because, you know, it's the desert and it's 120 degrees. But in the winter, yeah, it's beautiful weather. It's not hot, but it is so incredibly dry. So dry. Like, I didn't have to defrost my windows because the air just sucked the moisture off my windows. Like, there was no problem with that. I'm having to put lotion on multiple times. I'm drinking so much water, more than I normally would. I needed to keep eating things that are salty. I actually should buy some electrolyte stuff, the little packets. I should have those with me because I like the desert so much, and that would be a really good idea because I'm drinking this water and it's messing up my electrolytes, and I have to eat chips. I mean, I love chips, but I don't want to have to, like, and then I throw off my carbs, right? Like, it's like, so, I mean, I could just like lick some salt, I guess, but anyway, that seems, I mean, I like salt, so I probably like that, but yeah, you cannot believe how much water you're going to go through by drinking it. I also realized I need to eat some more food that is has moisture in it. So like I had some applesauce this morning. So because I have a lot of the snacks I eat are like bars and things that they preserve them by sucking out the moisture. You know, meat sticks, things that literally have no moisture in it because that's how they make them. That is part of the way that they process them, so they're shelf stable. But that means that I'm having to add moisture to digest them. So I had some applesauce, and I'll probably have some other kind of, you know, fruit type things that have a lot of moisture in them. So I'm going to let you go and just enjoy this drive that I've actually never been on. And I love driving on drives to the desert that I've never been on. Listen, so quiet. So yeah, I'm glad I drove up here. This is really neat. It does look so different than like a crater from a meteor. It's not symmetrical. This was from an explosion from underneath, not something from the sky. So yeah, I'm glad I drove here. It's so desolate, but there are a lot of people here. I mean, especially considering how early it is in the morning. So I bet you this gets really busy. I can't really go on a hike because my foot, but I did walk up this little hill just to get away from the people and get a better vantage point with the light. You can't actually see the bottom from the parking area, and the sun is right in your face. But that's worth the drive of, how long did it take me to get here? Like an hour and a half, but very much worth it. See right there? That's the road to go to the racetrack, which I'm not going on because you need high clearance, and you also need strong tires because of sharp rock. So that's a live for another day. But you can see, you might think on a map that this is flat, but it is definitely not flat out here. So I've been thinking as I'm driving, and actually also when I was at the crater, and I'm actually thinking I might start back today. I'm going to go over to, well, go to the visitor center, go to the bathroom, and maybe refill water, and then go to the bad water, which might actually have water there, which is super exciting. One of the reasons I came here. But since I can't hike, I like, there's only so much you could do without hiking. I kind of, like, I drive up to somewhere, I spend all this time driving there, I get out and I look at it, I take pictures of video, I can sit, you know, but that's it. And I can walk a little bit, but I'm not hiking because of my foot, so I'm kind of running out of things to do. And I don't really want to pay money to sit in a campground and like play Civilization, which is what I actually did yesterday. Don't be wrong, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed sitting and playing Civilization with a beautiful view. But I don't really want to pay for camping to sit and play Civilization for another night. Like, that's not really why I want to be out here. So I'm actually thinking I'll go to the visitor center, as I said, go to Badwater. It's only 9:26 in the morning because I was, you know, up and at 'em so early because that's me. I think it's going to take, I'll be ready to leave here before noon, and then I could get halfway back, more than halfway back probably. And then I spend the night at a rest stop, get up, leave at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be back in the San Francisco Bay Area by, 8 a.m. or something. And then I go Planet Fitness, take a shower, start my normal day. The thing is, not being able to hike or even really do that much walking, because like here the ground is either sand or loose gravel, like mountains of loose gravel, because it's alluvial fans. And that's the worst hiking if you have an ankle or foot problem. You know, it's so unstable. And then some of the places you can walk around that are paved are actually closed because they've got damage. And I've already been there, but still. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't think it really necessarily makes sense for me to stay at a campground one more night. If I had like downloaded books to my Kindle, then I could like sit and read books, maybe I'd do that. But it's not that I forgot. It was on my to-do list. I just didn't get to it. It was hard to get ready for this trip because of all the storms. And so that made everything more difficult and complicated to get ready for the trip. And then there were some things that just kind of didn't happen, you know. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing about traveling is you have things like storms and weather issues. You add in things like having personal health problems. You have to be flexible because yeah. And the thing is, I have to work sometime tomorrow. Like, I have things due, and I need to, answer email and stuff like that. So I need to have good internet. And while I know of at least one rest stop that I was going to go to that would have great internet, I could also just go back. I started so early in the day today, and this really isn't taking me that long since I'm not hiking at any of these places. I'm just stopping and looking at them pretty much. I don't think it really makes sense for me to hang out. So yeah, I did gather some really good information kind of by doing these drives here in Death Valley about places to come back to when I have the Subaru Outback or Forester or whatever I get. When I have high clearance, all-wheel drive, there's places that you have to be four-wheel drive. There's tons of places that are really just you need high clearance for, and that have camping. And so I definitely want to come back and to go to those places when I have the ability to do so. Also, one of the things I notice is where that crater is also where the road to the racetrack is, which is a very, very popular place for people to go. And at whatever time it was when I was there, 8 something, there were a lot of people there coming and going to the racetrack. And it's like, wow, like it's busy. I might never go there, because the thing is, that doesn't sound fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, to go somewhere where it's like busy, that doesn't sound fun. You know, almost everyone had like these super decked out, you know, Rubicon type things with all the rooftop tents, like super expensive. I don't know. It's not really my scene. Visitor center was busy. I mean, compared to other things, but it's 10:23 in the morning. It's starting to be peak tourist. And the thing is there's a lot of stuff here that's closed, right? And so it kind of concentrates the people into a smaller number of things. So I'm heading over to Badwater. It's 17 miles away. I'm expecting it to be busy because there's so many things you can't do here. Like, so many things that are kind of like typical things, like the Artist Drive, that's closed. There's a lot of viewpoints that are closed. So a lot of the things that you can kind of do just from the road are closed. So yeah. Wow, I see like one of the things that to do is it's crazy. It's people parked all along the side of the road, because you can't go to the actual parking area, I guess. So, oh my goodness. One thing that makes me crazy about tourists in national parks is they just like stop randomly, walk out into the middle of the road. Multiple times on this trip, I have had to like slow down because some tourist is literally standing in the middle of the road. And I'm like, this is a highway that's 55 miles an hour. And I get that we're in a national park and you want to look at beautiful things and go on your hike and do all this, take your pictures. And that is great. And I highly applaud that. I've even stood in the middle of roads and took pictures. But I look both ways before I do that. And I don't do it in a place where I can't see for like literally miles in each direction. Okay, so you can see behind me, there's the people who were walking out to the end of that boardwalk, and there's water. Normally you can keep walking because there's no water. Now there's usually water right here, but going out, there's no water. It's like an entire lake out there. There was one lady actually walking in it. Barefoot. You're walking on salt. That just seems very not good, but usually it's all scrub, I don't know. That way up there is sea level. There was someone down there with a boat, like a little kayak. And I think they were like making some, Instagram photo or whatever. But I do applaud that. That was cute. That was a cute idea. The lake down here, I had no idea how big it was. It's not just over where I was. I mean, it's way over here too. Yeah, it is. It is pretty amazing. The thing is that I'm seeing this. I've seen it 2 other times when it was how it usually is, which is salt flats with these really neat shaped, crystalline shaped salt flats. So you don't actually see any of that. You're seeing this lake down here, which if this is the only time you've been here would be kind of its own kind of weirdness, but you actually are missing the salt flat things, which are really neat. However, a lake in Death Valley is kind of wild, you know? It's like, of course, I will say that's not drinking water, that's salty. It's like water on top of a bed of salt. So this isn't making drinking water. I mean, you could, you know, desalinate it. You could get those salt water out theoretically, but like that's a whole thing, right? That's not easy or cheap. So I think these people are here just to go to the bathroom and take some pictures. It's amazing how you can be in an incredibly deserted place. And there's still a whole bunch of tourists. So if today is going to be my last day out here, I think I'm going to make some food for lunch. Let's see, it is 11:42. Yeah, that sounds good. And I want something, like I'm thinking maybe in there I have some chili or something. And I'm going to see if what I have, it's funny because it's like, I don't know, maybe 58, 60 degrees. But it actually feels really warm because the sun is just beating on you and there's no shade here. Like the shade is in the pit toilet or these ruins here. Like, there's so many mine ruins. Let's see where the ruins, yeah. Mine ruins out here because there were so many mines that didn't work. I don't think any of them really worked. But I've never seen it, and it wasn't much. So I made Annie's chili with beans, and I put in cheese, the rest of my pepper jack cheese, and the jalapenos and fried onions. It's actually really good. It's actually a bit spicy because there's jalapenos in it, and I got the spicy Annie's chili. So, man, yeah, very, very satisfying, very filling. I've only eaten about half of it, and I'm gonna go finish it. So I was hoping I was gonna have that place for myself, but one thing that's true about traveling and going to seeing scenic places, historical places, whatever that's alongside the road, is if there's no one parked there, then sometimes no one stops there because everyone thinks, oh, it's nothing. But if there's one person parked there, then it's like a seed with a pot, and then everyone starts to stop there. So I didn't get the place to myself, but that's fine. The chili was really at the spot for me. It's noon. I will need to eat again before I get to wherever I'm going, but I have no idea what I'm going to do as far as food goes. I mean, I have tons of food. I don't think I'll want to cook again. I think that I'll just have like maybe a wrap, you know, something like that. I don't have bread, but I have tortillas. I have no idea how long it will take me to get to my next place because Google Maps doesn't work. And while I can look it on my paper map and see the mileage, I don't know what the speed limit is. And I don't know how kind of curvy it is. So it's actually kind of nice in a way. There's something kind of in this zen existing in the moment when you have no idea how long it's going to take. You don't have Google Maps on. You're just driving on this road here, and then when it says Baker, I will take a right and I will drive to Baker, which is where the interstate is, 15. And it's going to take as long as it takes. And I have 3 different rest stops that I could stop at. Any one of them would be fine, and I've slept at all 3 of them before. So I'll just see where I end up.